Welcome to the Enhanced Operative Division.
I Expect You to Die has a unique approach compared to most VR games I've played. Rather than being very instructive and having lots of UI prompts to tell the user what to do, it relies on a more figure it out yourself style of gameplay, emblematic of how a spy would typically figure things out on the fly in a movie or TV show. This, however, has its pros and cons. The core gameplay revolves around you taking the role of a spy going on missions that have you interacting with the environment in different ways so that you can complete your missions and so you don't die. Mission 1 has you seated in a car that is clearly not yours, stored in the back of a flying airplane's cargo bay, in which you and the car must escape. Upon turning on the ignition, you're greeted with not one, but two methods in which this car tries to kill you. First is with the retinal scanner that shoots you with a laser that you must dodge. And if you do dodge that, you get rewarded with live dynamite at your feet that you must cut the wires in the correct order to disable. Dealing with the dynamite, however, was a lot more frustrating. The first several times I tried to just throw it out of the car window or at the cargo bay door with no success.
Open the door. Yeah, open. Are you serious?
This prompted me to then look around the car for clues to disarm it, and I came upon a knife and a sheet of paper with instructions on how to disarm the bomb. Even though the numbers were in reverse order of when you should cut them, so that messed me up a little bit. Personally, I think cutting one wire should be enough to disarm it because that's what they do in the movies and TV shows. But I'm guessing they were trying to go for a more engaging experience by making it three wires in the correct order, so it's not just a guessing game. However, this didn't really do it for me. The last objective, and in my opinion, the most frustrating part of this mission, was getting out of the plane. I sat around multiple times, digging around the car, trying to figure out what to do before getting absorbed by poisonous gas and killed. Lots of things I tried to grab were outside of my VR boundary, so I personally thought I was soft locked. That was until I remembered I could grab things from far away using the controllers because the spy has telekinetic powers, although I forgot about that in the briefing. I then grabbed a screwdriver from outside the car window really quickly using my telekinetic powers so I wouldn't get absorbed by poison gas. And then using the screwdriver, I opened the car's middle console, which then allowed me to reset the weapon system and bring out a huge cannon into the middle of the car. The instructions manual said to load it with smoke bombs, but that clearly wasn't going to break the cargo bay door, so I used some leftover dynamite that managed to blow the door sky high. But then I put the car in drive and it didn't move. And once again, I was kind of perplexed and unsure of what to do. I briefly thought about pressing the gas pedal with my hand, but I thought to myself, no, that's stupid. They wouldn't make me do that, right? And then curiosity got the best of me. I pressed the gas pedal with my hand, and sure enough, they did indeed make you press the gas pedal with your hand to escape the plane. For what it is, I think this game does a good job of emulating the day to day life of a spy. However, I think if they're going to have less feedback in terms of telling the player what to do compared to the average VR game, then I think the tasks should be a little bit simpler. As I mentioned earlier, I think the dynamite should have just taken one wire to cut instead of cutting them in a specific order to disarm it, because then this would remove the need for that instructional sheet of paper almost entirely, as long as the player explored the car just a little bit. The screwdriver on the outside of the car did bother me a little bit. I understand why they had it outside, so you can get the hang of that grab from a distance telekinetic mechanic, which I'm sure is used in later missions. But since opening the window introduces toxic gas into the car that kills you, I wasn't even thinking about looking outside the car for anything. When I first saw the instructions to open up the middle console with a screwdriver, my first instinct was actually to use the knife to pry open the screw holes. And this was the one piece of like any sort of feedback I got from the narrator was him saying,
Touchdown. Can I knife it?
I've seen you do many creative things with a knife, but I don't think turning screws will be among them.
Thanks. I appreciate it. I really do.
which was a little insulting, but I appreciated that because it told me like, okay, I'm in the right general direction, but this isn't the right tool for the job. Then, lastly, I just thought having to press the gas pedal with my hand was a little silly. It's not like I have to control the speed of the car or I have to hit the brakes at any point in time during this mission. You just simply drive out of the plane, and that's that. I think putting the car in drive would have done just fine without having to bend over and press the gas pedal with my fingers. Overall, I Expect You to Die was a fun interactive experience. However, the lack of instruction combined with some odd parameters can make this game rather frustrating at times, especially since the main gameplay point is not to die. It kind of comes with the territory.